Stitching Niche. I'm back for a short update video. Today is July 31st, my dad's 85th birthday. Went to see him this afternoon and I took him an apple that I picked off of his apple tree that's in my garden. It was an ugly little apple, but he was still excited because this is the first year since he planted the tree that we've actually gotten apples. So it's kind of funny because it was an ugly little apple. Since my last video, I went to Round Top, Texas with my sister Bridget to visit a family member. My cousin Ty owns the Coyote Station, which is like a hotel motel place in Round Top, and he owns a furniture showroom where he does custom made furniture. And we went to visit because he has a bunch of family photos that Bridget is going to upload into our family photo kind of catalog. She's a librarian, she loves to catalog things. So we spent the weekend with them and they showed us around Round Top, which is amazing. It is a dot on the map. It is small town right outside of Houston, about an hour outside of Houston. But it's like, if you like antiquing, that's where you need to go. Particularly the last week in September, first week in October, or the last week in March, first week in April. They have really big antique shows. So I'll put a couple of pictures in from our trip. Also, while we were there, we went to this restaurant called Reuters. It was amazing. I'll put a picture in, or I've put a picture in of that. But it's a really cool place. We had so much fun. I can't wait to go back. On our trip there, we stopped at a couple of needlework shops. We stopped at the Elegant Needle in, I think it's the Elegant Needle in Baton Rouge, but it's a needle point and we didn't find anything there. And then we went to Stitch and Frame. Now, Stitch and Frame originally was in Lafayette, Louisiana, but the owners sold it. And the lady that bought it moved it out to Broussard. And it's mainly needlepoint still, but she has a ton of fibers. And she does have cross stitch. Now she has most of her cross stitch in binders, and they're older charts. And there were some really interesting ones in there. The Sampler Company, she had Sheepish Designs. Maureen Blackburn, I saw some of those. I picked up a few, and actually most of them a couple of them I gave to Teresa, but I picked up this one, which is Good Housewife. It's the 1809 Quaker Sampler. And I picked up a Marjolaine Bastian piece that I did not have. I think I have all of her charts now. Also, while I was there, I'm interested in needlepoint, and I picked up, cover this up, I picked up this little ornament and some of the fibers to stitch. So I'm going to make him, that little hedgehog's going to be fuzzy, and then his nose is going to be shiny. So I'm going to try that. My sister Sharon does this kind of needlework, and she's going to teach me. Oh, here's some other things I picked up while I was in Round Top. This is one of the art galleries that's in Round Top, the Copper Shade Tree, and that piece, I saw that piece, and it was amazing. It literally took my breath away. It's all copper, three-dimensional pieces, and it's called the Forest Floor. It was beautiful. And I also went by, what is it, the Humble Donkey. It's another art gallery. And I got this little sticker. Had so much fun. So that was our trip to Texas. I wanted to stop at ABC Stitch Therapy, but Bridget made us late and we didn't get to go. So it's her fault. Bridget. But that's okay, because I'm going back to Houston and I'll get to stop there. We stopped at Buc-ee's 3 times. So if you've been through Texas, or they've got a Buc-ee's now in Alabama, it's an amazing thing. So we stopped in Baytown coming, and I ran into a car and I had the biggest bruise on my arm. It looked like somebody beat me up because Bridget was talking to me in the parking lot and I turned to see her and I ran into a car. People in the parking lot laughed at me. And then we stopped at Buc-ee's on the way back in Northwest Houston, and then we stopped at the Baytown one again. So I love Buc-ee's. What am I trying? Oh, I forgot. Lost my train of thought. I do have a couple of finishes, a few finishes to share. One of the things I want to share, I'm very proud of, is I got the frame for the Garden Club series. So this is all 12 of the Garden Club series pieces stitched together. This is from Blackbird Design. And I talked about this on my last video, that each one has initials for women that are inspirational to me. So I love the frame. It's stitched on Autumn Blush from Silk Weaver, and I use silks. So it's just different silks to match the colors that were called for. And this will hang downstairs in my living room next to the Anniversaries of the Heart piece that I finished years ago. So I'm very, very proud of that. So that was my big FFO to share with you. I do have some FOs. I'm participating in the Jolly July new ornament start a day in July, and I've started a new ornament every day but the Sunday that I drove back from Texas. I was just too exhausted when we finally got home. So today's the 31st, and I will start an ornament as soon as this video's finished, and then I'll have 30 new ornaments started. I have finished 10 of those, and I've shown, or 9 of those. I've shown 7 of them in previous videos, and then this is a new one that was finished. This was Homespun Elegance Joyful Santa that was in one of the cross stitch magazines. And then I finished the La-Dee-Da Christmas bird. And I was, this is so funny. So people have talked about this on previous videos, that when you're cross stitching and watching TV, later when you look at the piece you were cross stitching, you think of what you were doing during that time. It's called automatic memory. That something that was happening while you were doing something becomes part of the memory of that. There's my A&P teaching right there. But anyway, so you have automatic memory. And I watch, back in the day, before Flosstube, I watched Law & Order, Criminal Intent, and Homicide: Life on the Street. Those were my favorite TV shows to watch. I do not like Law & Order SVU. Don't like it, don't watch it. But I watched those other ones, and so I will look at some of my old cross-stitching, and it reminds me of episodes. It's like, oh, when I look at that, I'm looking at this thing hanging over here that's got like spring, summer, autumn, winter. It's a little bell pull, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of that time they found the body in Central Park. So it's that automatic memory. So I've been stitching on these ornaments. So to get to the point of these, I've been stitching on these ornaments. And this past week and a half, I've been watching the Marvel Universe movies. So let me explain that. I like movies. I don't watch a lot of them. My older son loves movies. He wants to work in movies. He's got a degree in film. He's got a year of graduate school in theater production. That's what he loves. So he knows a lot about movies. My sister Bridget loves movies. She catalogs information. She's a librarian, so she is like a walking encyclopedia of anything that you want to talk about. Katrina Boyd is just as bad. So when you get the two of them together, it's like information overload. And they play off each other. They know everything Bridget knows, Katrina knows too, and it's amazing. Well, Bridget, I've spent a lot of time with Bridget this summer with our trips, and she's like, well, so-and-so in Black Panther, and so-and-so in this movie. I'm like, I don't know the movie. She's like, you've got to watch all these movies. I can't believe you have sons and you haven't watched these movies. So I went to Patrick, and I said, Patrick, I need to watch all the Marvel films. I need to know about the Marvel Universe. But apparently Bridget thinks I need to know this. Can you please make a list of all the movies for me? He's like, okay, do you want that in chronological order in the Marvel Universe, or do you want it in the order that the movies were released? I don't know. I do know. I wanted them in chronological order of the Marvel Universe. Not our chronological order, their chronological order. he says, okay, that's easy. So he made me a list of all the movies in the Marvel Universe chronological order, including whether or not I can watch the post-credit clips, because some of them are not in the right chronological order. And so I have a list, and I'm checking it off and watching it. So as I'm watching it, I'm cross-stitching on these ornaments. So in years, when I look at this, I'll think of Thor. When I think of, look at this one, I'll think of Captain America. So that automatic memory is hilarious when you start working with your cross-stitch. Long thing to tell you, I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies lately. Just finished the first Avengers. I want to watch Iron Man 3 maybe tonight. Yeah, I think I can watch Iron Man 3 tonight. Okay, so what else am I going to do? Or what else have I been doing? I have been sewing. I have been sewing like a crazy lady. So last video I talked about the project bag that I made for Teresa. It's called the Classmate. And all I had left to do was put the binding on it. Well, in the instructions for the Classmate, it tells you how to do a single fold binding. Brilliant. It was so easy. It looked perfect. So that same day I finished it, I dug out everything in my craft room that I only needed to put the binding on, and that's what I did over the next couple of days. So let me show you some of those things that I finished. Let's see. Oh, where did I put them? There they are. One of the things I'd already shown in a previous video, this was a little mug rug that was in the Primitive Quilts and Projects magazine, this latest issue. I finished it and put the binding on. Don't look at my quilt squares, I kind of messed up, but it's still cute. And there's so that's my mug rug. I made this little mug rug out of the selvage from the project bags that I've got posted on my Etsy shop. So I copied Becca Clash and made me another little mug rug. I actually used this for my little tiny iron. I set it on there back here. This is a table runner that I hand quilted last fall, I guess. And it's just been waiting for me to put the binding on. And now that I know how to do the binding, I finished it. And I love it. And then finally, I finished this quilt. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. This is Sally's Snuggle quilt. I bought this charm pack at a little fabric store. And then I ordered the backing fabric. This is Woof Woof Meow Meow is the name of the fabric line. And I made Sally a snuggle blanket. Isn't it cute? So I'll insert a picture here of Sally enjoying her snuggle blanket. So that has been my projects that I've been working on. I have a few more weeks of vacation and I hope to get some more. I did some of this wool applique. I don't have enough to show you, but maybe by the next video I'll have the last 2 blocks of that completed. But I've been working on sewing, and so one of the things I want to show is some project bags that I finished today that are in my Etsy shop. So I have this one. I think I have this as Halloween Nature. So cute. So I have a few of those. And then this Apothecary. And I love the lining. And then of course I still have a few of these left. I think I have about 10 of the red and only 1 of the green left. So those are in my Etsy store, Jen's Stitching Niche, if you're interested. Another thing I want to share with you that's in my Etsy shop are these towels. My mother taught me to cross stitch, and her eyesight has gotten pretty bad, so she can't cross stitch anymore. She can't sew anymore, but she can still crochet. And she can crochet very, very fast. She and Lisha, they're like crocheting machines. So she sits around, now that she's made everybody in her family probably 2 to 3 Afghans, she makes these towels. And she's been making these towels for years. I have a whole bunch of them that she gave me when my hubby and I got married almost 30 years ago. But she's got several of these, and they were just piling up in her house. You know, she had a little basket where she was putting them in, and I'm like, what are you going to do with those? She's like, I was thinking about selling them. I said, well, I'll put them on my Etsy store. So if you look in my Etsy store, Jen's Stitching Niche, you can find some of my mom's crochet towels. And you just hang it on the kitchen cabinet or the refrigerator. So, and she just buys these towels and finds yarn in her huge yarn stash, and she just makes all kinds of them. So that's the other thing in my shop update. The last thing I want to share with you is my plans for my August start. So this is the year of Brenda Gervais, and I will be starting Boo to You. Isn't that the cutest thing? Brenda's newest charts are amazing. I had them all in my shop, and I sold out of all of them within 24 hours, except for one. I think I have one left. I've got them on reorder. You can wait until I get them, or you can get them from other shops, but these are adorable, and I will be working on Boo to You tomorrow because that's too cute. The October 31st, remember the witch that Priscilla and Chelsea, we all stitched last year? Doesn't that look familiar? So somehow these need to go together. So, and it calls for Winter Brew 36 count, and that's what I'm going to use. So, because I think I want to be exactly like Brenda. And that, even that ribbon, I was reading that orange and white gingham ribbon is at Hobby Lobby. So cute. I love it. Okay, so that is it. It's a short video, but I wanted to, did I tell you about my trips coming up? I didn't tell you about my trips coming up. The reason I'm making this video and it's so short is I'm going on 2 trips. I am leaving tomorrow with my son Patrick, and we're going to the world's longest yard sale. I am super excited about it. This will be our 3rd year. We're going to start in Gadsden, Alabama, and work our way up through Tennessee. Last year when I was there, I ran into none other than Jimmy Flosstube. So who knows who I will run into this year. But I will try to remember to do some video clips and share that with you on my next installment. And then the next weekend, my husband and I are going to be driving with Patrick to Florida because he is moving to Florida. He is participating in the Disney College program, and he has to check in on August 12th. So we're going to leave on Friday, spend the weekend at Disney, and then he checks in on that Monday, and then we're going to leave on Tuesday. I am planning on going to one of the local needlework shops there in the Orlando area. I'm using my guilt. How do I say this? I was telling my husband, I'm like, I'm going to be very sad that we're leaving Patrick in Disney. He's my firstborn, so I probably need some therapy, cross-stitch shopping therapy. So we're going to cross-stitch shopping. But I am kind of sad because that's a long way, but he's 24 and he'll be fine. And he'll be in the happiest place in the world. So, and he's going to have a great time. His plan is to find a permanent job there in the Orlando area and not move back. So I'll be okay. All right. So I think that's it. I will update you on any of my stitching, and you can follow me on Instagram. You can check out my Etsy shop. I hope everybody has a nice couple of weeks left of summer. I know some of you are going back to school already. It was a nice summer. It was hot, but it was okay. I enjoyed myself. But thanks for stopping by. See you soon.